It's just the power that's in your head. We all live in a Pokemon world. I know, completely irrelevant to what we about to talk about. Demoniacal fit out of the gate. The Kaioken Goku. And really this is, as we all know, a very redundant, extremely redundant release. I don't know why even bother dropping this, but we all know why. Because we see the key, pulling in factor, which is that Saiyan Saga Vegeta skirt piece. That's the whole reason why this figure exists. Now, I think they would have honestly been better off if they could just getting a hold of that 24,000 battle power Vegeta figure, and even if they didn't want to include it into the sculpt, they could have just included this as an extra accessory and just re-releasing that, because people would have just been happy to have that and happy to have easy access to a figure like that, which was a premium Bandai exclusive anyway. So I don't know, huge fumble by Demoniacal Fit. I don't know why they made this particular decision. It doesn't make any sense to me at all, especially considering that we got this as a general release from Tamashii. Very redundant, but maybe there's a method to their madness that I'm not seeing. Maybe y'all know, but to me it doesn't make any sense. On to the next one.
Just beyond the event horizon, Black Hole Toys emerges with Super Saiyan 4 Goku.
And honestly, I'm not even sure how much the official Goku is going on as we speak, or how much is going for as we speak, but this particular release seems to come with different faceplates. Well, not even seems to. It comes with different faceplates. It also comes with a different hair sculpt that's supposed to be, I think, replicating being windswept. And you can see it here. This is the original hair sculpt, or rather, right here you can see it much better. Right here. This is supposed to be the more windswept hair sculpt. And here's one of the newer faceplates, which bears a resemblance to the DL Customs faceplates. I wonder what's up with that. But either way, if you like the more saturated colors of this, and you like the rock piece that he's coming with, I say definitely pick him up. And we already know Black Hole Toys is going to give you bang for your buck. So even if it's not an extra amount more accessories, in terms of, like, not even an extra amount, like a whole lot more accessories is what I'm trying to say, more than the official release, the price point will still be at a point where you're going to be like, yo, I'll pick that up. Why not? Right? So if you like these more saturated colors and whatnot, definitely pick the guy up. He's available on AliExpress.com. Now, if I see him on 5K Toys, you already know, I'll put y'all on, because I know a lot of people have their hang-ups with AliExpress. But really, the go-to place at this point in time for Black Hole Toys is AliExpress. There's been, I've seen people, my good man, Flox, he's reviewed stuff that's from AliExpress. He reviewed the Demoniacal Fit father and son set. He ordered his from AliExpress. So, if you're wondering, you can ask Flox, like, hey, where'd you get yours from? But that being said, let's move forward, because Black Hole Toys has another thing that's coming out alongside this. And yet another Super Saiyan 4. Now, initially when I first saw this in the packaging, like we seen in the plastic clamshell, I wasn't too keen on the paint scheme for the fur, and I'm still not super keen on it. Once again, we have that same kind of windswept hair sculpt, and it looks good. I think it looks good. I think the hair looks good, but I'm still iffy on the fur. The fur looks better than I initially thought it did, but still kind of iffy on the fur. Personally, if you like it, go for it, obviously. But to me, still kind of iffy on it. I think it could have been done a little bit differently, but I don't think it's horrible at this point in time. Before, I was like, oh, that is horrible, I hate it. But now I think it's decent. I think the quality of the photos have convinced me, otherwise, that it's not terrible. But here you have your Time Patroller Goku. Now on to the next thing. Up next, we have RE Customs or Recustoms. And, you know, we get an update on their Namek Saga Super Saiyan Goku head sculpt. And according to Hobby Model Store, this is supposed to arrive August 10th. So, if you're interested in this more fluffy look to the hair, you know, not the extreme definition and detail to the hair, because, you know, that's how the art style was back then, definitely pick this up. And it's an excellent head sculpt. Faceplates look on point. Ultimately, of course, the final deciding factor will always be once we get it in hand, but, you know, on to the next one. Now, real quick, we have another head sculpt from RE Customs, and as you can see, it is a Super Saiyan 2 Gohan from the Cell Games head sculpt. Now, RE Customs is a beast, or Recustoms, whatever you want to call them. It's a beast with the head sculpt side of the game, and it's looking really good. Ultimately, and once again, we're on Stephen Chen's Instagram. Ultimately, when will it drop? Time will tell the tale on that, because there's a bunch of Super Saiyan 2 Gohan head sculpts, you know, going around, and, you know, that makes sense since we already have that Cell Games body, or the 3.0 Cell Games body. So all you gotta do is produce a head sculpt, and of course you would want to get these head sculpts out particularly before Tamashii eventually drops theirs, because if you don't have to compete with the main company, why do it, unless you're gonna provide like a whole bunch of more extra accessories, which has been done in the past before. That being said, let's move forward. Up next, we got, of course, Tonsenarttoys, and, you know, as we can see, we see a bunch of Kid Buu figures already assembled. Now, I forget which version this is, but this is the one with the gold paint instead of the yellow paint on the belt, and, you know, around the cuffs of the ankle guards and the gauntlets on his arms, right? But we see the figures being assembled. We see, of course, the more pale pink version. We have the more saturated pink version, which I'm pretty sure the more saturated pink version, I was gonna say, is the manga. Actually, I'm not sure off the top of my head right now, so just forget it. But either way, the point is the figure's being assembled. And in the caption, he says, "Shipping soon." Now, of course, we've been hearing this for a little while. I gotta, you know, even though I love Tonsen, I've been saying this for a little while, and we keep on getting these delays. I would say at the very least, at least we're seeing progress photos and things of that nature. They're saying shipping soon, so I'm gonna say, assume, this is not confirmed, guys. I'm gonna say sometime middle to end this, the absolute latest, next month. It should take no longer than that, to be honest. And like, I appreciate Tonsen at least communicating a bit in terms of showing us, you know, progress pics. But, you know, it's only so many times you could keep on delaying, you know, the release date. And Tonsen has gotten a lot of leeway because of how detailed his stuff is and how, you know, accurate it is in terms of the likeness to the show. So, you know, you get your accolades for, what do you call it? Greatness. You typically get exceptions for being great, but, you know, even that has its limits, is what I'm saying. That being said, let's real quick go on to another little update from Tonsen, and then something else that's actually fairly surprising from Tonsen. Here we don't have a caption, but we know that it's dealing with Trunks, and the Trunks figure is also being assembled at the same time. Hopefully, you know, I'm assuming at this point, these things, the Trunks figures and the Buu figures, will probably be released around the same time at this point in time. Seems like everything is already assembled. In fact, on the, I think it's a Chinese website, don't quote me on that, but on the Chinese website, Bilibili, they already had somebody reviewing the Trunks figures, so the Trunks figures have to be coming very soon, if not more soon than the Kid Buu, you know? Now, just quickly, I want to clear up some confusion. I think some people were under the impression that Kid Buu was coming out first before Trunks. or have been in development longer than Trunks, and that's not the case at all. We actually saw renders of Tonsen's Trunks even before Tamashii showed off their 3.0 Trunks. That's how long Tonsen's been working on this particular Trunks. That's how long it's been. The Kid Buu thing we really didn't see until what? Sometime last year, maybe early last year, maybe late 2022. And even when we first saw the first printouts, we wasn't even sure if he was gonna mass produce that figure. At first I thought it was just gonna be like a custom project that just looked really cool. So, you know, I'm saying to keep that in mind. I'm not saying it's excusable that, you know, we keep on getting the dates pushed back and back, especially when people put their pre-orders in and things of that nature. But I'm just saying to take it into consideration, you know. That being said, let's move on to the crazy thing. Well, not the most interesting thing at this point in time, because we already knew about the Trunks of the Kid Buu from Tonsen. But this thing is pretty cool, because it's coming along faster than I thought. So now we on Steven_Chen_TC's page, and as you can see, and if you haven't kept up with my past videos, this is another project by Tonsen. Still very early, as you can see in the preliminary thing, but if I'm not mistaken, of course, because I'll be forgetting the volume number, but this is supposed to be Goku and his outfit from volume number 17 of the manga, where he's riding a bike. And Tonsen plans to do a figure on this, and I'm sure this is more like a tribute type of project to Toriyama. Of course, I believe this will be mass produced with the bike and everything. But I think this is a good example of, you know, Tonsen being a true fan, or one of the ultimate fans of Dragon Ball. Like, making a figure like this that's, you know, really, I think the project is a good project, but, you know, relatively speaking, in terms of making money, I think it's fairly obscure. But at that same time, because it's obscure and nobody else would do it, that could also be a very seller point in itself, right? So, very interested to see how this comes along. I also find it very interesting, real quick, that this is this far along, but we haven't gotten an update on the Gotenks that he teased a while back. Now, it could be another thing, like another situation like Kid Buu, where it just pops up out of nowhere and we see that it's already very far along in development, because Tonsen seems to be working on a lot of different projects at once. Like, we still have to get the updated Bardock Super Saiyan head sculpts, as well as the Super Saiyan 2 head sculpts. And we still got to get the Super Saiyan head sculpts from Goku, as well as the Super Saiyan 2 head sculpts from Goku. I mean, not from Goku. Goku head sculpts from Tonsen. Now, when all of this will be dropped, I don't know. As we can see, Tonsen, once again, working on a lot of different projects at once. And as well, you know, head sculpts seem to be fairly easy to do. Or it will probably be, not even probably, it is much faster to produce than a full figure. That being said, let's move forward. Now, without further ado, it's time for Air Studios to get some air time. Now, ultimately, with this Gohan, like, what can I really say? It's a great head sculpt, or at least in render, it looks great. We'll see ultimately what the product yields, right? But it's looking great. I don't have any critique on it. The only thing I have to say is that, I hope that Air Studio starts to, you know, drop their projects that they already have planned first, because, you know, I guess, you know, the Galactic Patrol half-ripped shirt for Goku from the Moral Arc is coming out, or as some people already have their hands on it, but, you know, I'd rather more projects for it to actually drop, rather than just, you know, a bunch of stuff just piling up. They have some stuff in collabs with HM Studio, like the Teen Gohan, Super Saiyan 2, and what else? They have the Cell Games Goku as well. That's in that collab with HM Studios. So, you know, we have Ultimate Gohan here, which is supposed to be reflective of, you know, Buu Saga Ultimate Gohan. And it looks great. All of it looks great. Like I said, just start dropping the stuff in real time. In fact, we've seen in-hand pictures of some of that stuff, and it looks great. It looks just like the render. Just a matter of once again, just getting everything to the people. That's ultimately what we want. We want the people to have the product in their hands, because, you know, just lurking through these groups, I'm just going off on a tangent real quick, guys. But, you know, lurking in these groups and seeing people's, you know, gripes. People are getting sick of pre-orders, you know. People want to just be able to have the product right away. And so, you know, with all that being said, I guess if you want to pre-order. Well, not for this. I'm speaking in general. But, you know, if you want to pre-order. If you don't, just wait for the product to come out. Now, unfortunately, with some of these things, if you do that, you're going to be paying an arm and a leg, because some of these things are made to order, and, well, if you have your gripes with that, then that's fine. But, you know, just understand the process that's going to have to be gone through if you just decide to wait to order. And that's it. It is unfair, but it is what it is if you're going to participate in this hobby, unfortunately. That being said, let's move forward with some more Air stuff. Up next, we have, once again, more Air Studio, and of course, we're on Stephen Chen's Instagram. He's the one that's disseminating these renders for us. And what we have is basically a kit for Gohan, so you could replicate the look that he had before he went into the time chamber and Android Saga to train with Goku. And the body mold that you would be using in order to replicate this look in particular would be that Cell Games Gohan. So ultimately, how much will it cost? I don't know just yet. No word on the prices, just renders, just letting y'all know. But also, we do have in-hand pictures where it shows us how the kit is supposed to look on him. So here's how the kit is, some of the kit at least, is supposed to look in real time, and it looks good. Ultimately, you know, you have that shirt right there, and really how you're supposed to get that initial shirt off from, you know, the initial release, I don't know, but people got that Beast Gohan shirt off, which also was a very soft and malleable plastic. So ultimately, it's definitely doable. Now here we have a look that's more representative of, did he have the ankle things on in the Broly movie, or did he have this particular look in the Broly movie with the Piccolo shoes and the thing around his neck? I know he definitely had that thing around his neck in the Broly movie, but I can't remember if he had the Piccolo shoes or this look. Regardless, with one of these looks, you could replicate how he looked in the Broly movie. I'm gonna say this Super Saiyan is jogging my memory to say this is how he looked with the Piccolo shoes and not the white things around his ankle. This is how he looked in the Broly movie, the first Broly movie. But once again, it's looking good. I can't complain any much or too much. I said any much. But that being said, let's move forward, because there's still more Air stuff to cover. And also, how could I forget, in order to complete his pre-time chamber look, he comes with the longer hair. And I think this render is done very well. Looks great. And it's not a whole lot I can say about it until now, until we get it in hand. And of course, until we actually get pre-orders for this, whenever that might be. In fact, like I said earlier, I don't think Air Studios needs much more to go on pre-order. But in case you wanted a point of reference, here you go. This is the look that we're supposed to be trying to replicate. And let's move forward. Last but certainly not least, we have Vegeta, and as you can see, this is a kit that's meant for Vegeta and 24,000 battle power, and we have broken shoulder pads. Of course, we have the skirt piece that comes with the tail, and as we seen earlier, we seen that the Demoniacal Fit Scarlet Fighter Goku, or whatever it's called, it's coming with a skirt piece as well, but this is coming with a little bit more, as we can see. Broken shoulder pads, and this could also double as just the broken shoulder pads that he had on Namek, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to look at a reference photo to see if that's correct. But ultimately, it's looking pretty good. These are the pieces that it's supposed to come with, and once again, by Air Studio, brought to us by Stephen Chen, you know, the photos. But That being said, with all these extra accessories, I wouldn't be surprised if this gave like a little for extra push to people trying to track down that 24,000 battle power or power level Vegeta. So you know, get your hands on this figure while you still can, because like I said, it's gonna probably start to become more and more hectic to get this figure. I don't know. So up next we have this studio that I'm not even sure the name of. The best thing, a point of reference I can give you is they had promised at one point in time, if I'm not mistaken, to do the 5th and 6th forms of King Cold. Now, ultimately, as we can see, this is clearly a reference or in reference to the Golden Ape or the Golden Ozaru from Dragon Ball GT. This is where it will be from. However, we still don't know how large the figure will be, how much it will cost. We really don't know a whole lot about this at all. All we know is that these initial pictures look pretty cool, but that doesn't equate to a figure being very cool. All we know is that they say it begins, right? So the project is going to be starting, if it hasn't already started by the time of this recording. That being said, let's move on to our last guest. Beastar! Last but certainly not least, we have right here a kit for Fenrir. Now, if you don't know who Fenrir is, Beast Deities, that's Beast Deities Broly. And we see that the hair is going to have some type of light up feature. Now, how prominent it will be, this video I don't think is doing the best job in highlighting it, but we'll see ultimately when we get our hand on to the next thing. And of course, up next we got Mr. Box Office himself, Broly. Now, this is yet another release from Beast Deity, and as we can see, the faceplate is humongous. And not only that, but you know, that small detail of the earring being movable is pretty cool. I think they're able to do that once again because it's just such a humongous figure, and faceplate that they're working with and the real estate that they're working with in terms of the face is just so large that they're able to do something like that. Ultimately, when is it going to come out? Because I know somebody's going to ask that. This is scheduled technically, if I'm remembering correctly, for sure Q1 of next year. Now, the absolute earliest I see coming out is December. In fact, it could very well come out in December overseas, but usually we get it like a month or two later over here, a month and a half later, a month or two later over here. So really, like January, February time frame you're looking at for this Broly stuff. Let's move forward. Last but certainly not least, for the Beast Deity stuff, for the energy effect, once again, they have more LED stuff. And with this LED stuff, this is something that they actually promised in the pre-order a while back. But it looks like it works very well, more so than, you know, how the hair was lighting up. But this is looking very, very promising. Ultimately, will it be something some people use? Maybe, but I could see people saying like, oh, this is very gimmicky type of deal. And also, as you can see, it says on the screen, LED features for the Rabbit Wave coming in September. So this is coming out next month. They have the Vegeta scheduled for. Will it actually drop that early? Very possible that it will, because if you live overseas, typically y'all get it like a month in advance, month and a half in advance, and then we get it a little bit later. That being said, let's move forward. Well, at least it's not dark and twisted.
It is overtime! Now here we have something rather, unique in terms of a third-party release. We have a vehicle release for a third-party release, and honestly, this is really cool. And I think it really highlights, how Toriyama's, construction of machines and, robots, that's something that's not really emphasized a lot in Dragon Ball Z per se. But, in a lot of his artworks, you can see strange vehicles like this. The imagination that you had to have in order to, produce something like this is pretty wild. But if you're interested in this, as you can see, this particular piece is going for almost 70 buckaroos. Now, according to 5K Toys, it's scheduled to arrive in August. Well, released in late August and arrives in September. Now, one thing that would have been cool with this vehicle is that it come with like some hands for holding handlebars instead of the standard, having to stick with the standard hands that come with most of these SH Figuarts Dragon Ball figures. Because a lot of times when you think about it, they're not really holding things like handlebars, except for maybe Trunks or something like that, where he's holding his sword. But that's all I got for you today. Peace.